much did you have to train, and what did your body feel like after being like in those tight spaces for so long?
In the beginning, it's kind of like hitting the gym, you know, you're sore after the first
Sure.
week, and then after a while, you kind of climatize to it. We trained for about 4 to 5 months, all the way from F3000, F4s up to F1 cars. So these are, of course, different disciplines. And each time you kind of conquer one car, they're like, all right, now get in a faster one, you know?
Yeah.
Which was really beautiful to just see that progression and to move from Grand Prix to Grand Prix, also learning the tracks. So there was so much training that went into it, but it was just really fun because I got to do it with Brad,
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, that was just a dream come true.
So did y'all have competition in like training? Because you have competition on the screen, but did you have a little competition training?
I tried not to, but of course, I mean, it had to happen.
Come on.
But we you know, I have to tip my hat to Luciano Bacchetta and Craig Dolby, our stunt coordinators, who made sure that the both of us looked amazing on track. And when you watch the movie, I mean, you could tell,
Yeah.
you know, like we really are giving it everything. We're really pushing the car to the limits, and I'm so happy we're able to pull that off.
We need to build our car for combat.
How am I supposed to make that safe?
Who said anything about safe?
And then you got the brains behind the whole operation here with Kerry. How much did you have to dive into like Formula One to learn the X's and O's, to be able to wrap your brain around being the technical director?
I didn't know anything about Formula
No.
One, nothing at all. I only knew the podium and the champagne. That was like the height of my
Sure,
knowledge.
right.
So I had to learn a lot, but when I started to learn a lot about the engineering side of making a car and the physics of it, I got to a certain point where I was like, I'd have to go to college to learn this properly.
Yeah.
So then I just selected what worked for the particular scenes that I was in and what could explain to the audience what was going on. So if you're not a Formula One fan, you'll understand what's happening
Yeah.
in the movie. So trying to walk that fine line between being very normal with a lot of the terminology, but yet in a way that people would understand.
That worked though. I mean, now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, she did make this very relatable for somebody who knows nothing
Yeah.
about cars at all, doesn't even know how to like change the oil or anything. I was like, she made this very relatable.
Great, good.
Yeah.
If you had any constructive criticism for each other, what would it be?
Don't be such a kid. That was constructive.
Wow. We are officially in summer movie season now, and we've had some good ones. There's one person in particular that knows a little thing about action or two, Mr. Tom Cruise, who has been saying over and over again, F1, you gotta see this film. This is the film to see this summer. So when you hear an endorsement from somebody like that who knows a thing or two about action, well, how does that make you feel?
I mean, that's insane. That's my first time hearing that. Like, Tom Cruise is just, come on, man. Like, they need to make like separate awards just for him, you know. So yeah, definitely feel a huge sense of pride, you know, from someone like that saying that. That's so cool.
He's such a generous actor. He really is. Like, he's such a movie fan, just in general of the whole industry. And I'm just thrilled he watched the movie. Yeah.
So the film, in part, is also about second chances and kind of trying to prove to people that you've still got it. Has there been a moment in each of your all's journey where you've had to like step up a little bit and say, no, I am that guy, I am that girl, and really have a moment where you had to show people that, yeah, I got it?
I remember a movie I did once. It was my first day, and you know, director came into the trailer and it was like, yo, got to kind of, you know, give it.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? So then the next day, you know, we had the biggest scene of the movie, and I gave it, you know, and in the scene I had to give it with a python on my neck. Yeah, this is a film called Farming. And it was really amazing to be given that encouragement, but also to be in that state of having to prove yourself is something I long for. I have a compulsion for that feeling. And I felt that in this movie, you know, doing scenes with Kerry, doing scenes with Brad, doing scenes with Javier, or the whole crew, or even getting in the car.
Sure.
You know, I wanted to prove that I deserved to be there.
I love that. Because kind of when you lose that, then don't you lose like the zhuzh for the business if you ever lose that?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's like being offered. I always think of actors who are offered parts like their entire lives. like it must be even scarier because you haven't proven to anyone that you could do this job.
Yeah.
So you show up and everyone's like, all right, mate.
Show us what you got.
You know?
Damson's here.
Yeah. Everyone's leaning in like, okay.
Right. Have you had that moment?
I suppose on this movie, yeah, I felt it because, you know, Banshees was like caught a wave, you know, and I've always kind of thought I would want to be a character actress, you know, and play all these weird characters. So this was a real opportunity to go, well, no, I can be a character actress, but I could also be like a leading lady.
Yes.
And it wasn't a fluke that I got this Oscar nomination. And I felt like I was up for acting opposite Brad Pitt. I was like, I feel like I have enough experience.
Yeah.
I think I know what I'm doing. I think
you
I
held
got
your
it.
own.
Did you win something? There's 20 other drivers still out on that track. Do you think any of them respect us?
One of the things I loved about this film too is the music in it. So the music really works with it, whether it's Doja Cat, Chris Stapleton, whatever. Damson, for you, what's your playlist when you're getting yourself pumped for those scenes, the racing scenes, the big scenes where you gotta have that adrenaline going? What are you listening to?
I was listening to so much UK rap in my trailer. I would listen to Santan Dave, Central C, J Hus, but I'd also listen to a lot of Afrobeats as well. I'd listen to Burna Boy, Wizkid, a lot of Thames, and it really just psyched me up because I feel like that's the music that Joshua would have been listening to.